The film begins with an unseen woman asking a man if he's a serial killer. Scenes cut straight to the man choking the life out of someone. The screen turns black, and a text message pops up, detailing a serial killer who went on a killing spree all over America, and was eventually caught in Oregon. The film is the adaptation of that exact serial killer. The film further splits into 6 achronological chapters, starting with Chapter 3, called, "Can You Help Me? Please?" In this chapter, an unnamed lady is being pursued by the man shown in the beginning, who's a serial killer called the Demon. He shoots at the back of the lady's car, due to which she crashes by the roadside. She quickly crawls out of it and runs into the woods on the other side of the road, where she finds some alcohol and a pack of cigarettes. While Demon walks around with his rifle in search of her, she takes a sip of the alcohol and pours the rest of it on her injured ear. She smokes for an instant, but quickly realizes it can attract Demon. She puts out the smoke and runs away from there. She crosses some wired fences and reaches an old couple's house, begging for help. Chapter 5 comes up next, called, "Here, Kitty Kitty." In this chapter, the lady is seen hiding in a small and claustrophobic space with her lighter on. Demon reaches the old couple's house and searches each room one by one. He shoots the chest boxes and looks for the lady in there, but she's not. When he goes upstairs to search for the lady, he roams around the dead old man, indicating he's shot him. He finds no signs of the lady and walks out of there. Unfortunately, he discovers the frozen supplies thrown in the garden, which gives him a hint. He runs back inside the house and finds the freezer. He shoots at it, forcing the lady to scream. He discovers the lady from the freezer and knocks her out with a single punch. The plot thickens as Chapter 1, called Mr. Snuffle, takes place. This chapter marks the beginning of how Demon came across his lady. The two happen to be on some kind of a one-night stand, where Demon drives her outside a hotel. The two smoke and get to know one another. The lady asks him if he's a serial killer because she prioritizes her safety first. He acts all innocent and giggly while confirming he's not. After some more chatting, the two book a room in the hotel, where the lady is seen cuffed to the bed and Demon choking her. She prefers Demon to choke her harder, so he does. For strange reasons, she tells him to stop and uncuff her. Laid back on the bed, he appears perplexed. He specifies it was her idea to make things rough, but the lady smokes a cigarette and confronts him that she gets weird vibes from him. Demon ignores this and forcefully handcuffs her. He takes things up a notch and shouts degrading things at her, while simultaneously slapping her for screaming. She immediately says the word, "Mr. Snuffle," and he stops. This goes to show they were still role-playing their weird fetishes. Scenes rewind to their car conversation, in which the lady gaslights Demon into believing he's the one who craves the rough adventures, and she's willing to try it for his sake. During their entire planning of the role-play, Demon passes a remark at her, calling her messed up, but she likes it. While she gets her stuff before heading to the room, Demon straps a gun to his ankles. Back in the room, she transitions from crying to smiling and praising how good Demon was throughout the role-play. However, she wants a gentle beginning, so she kisses him softly, after which there's a strange look in her eyes. The film proceeds at Chapter 4, called The Mountain People, in which we witness the old couple living a peaceful life in retirement up the hill. They make breakfast together and eat it, after which they sit together to solve a picture puzzle. That's when the lady shows up outside, begging for help. They let her in and dress her ear wound, during which she tells them how a serial killer is chasing after her, and she asks them for a gun for her defense, but they bring to her attention that they're nice people who don't carry a gun, even though the stereotypes about the mountain people say otherwise. While the old woman walks upstairs to fetch some medicine, the lady starts inhaling their breakfast food due to the long chase. The old man gives her a chair to sit on and starts talking about his past, about being a fearless bike rider and how he became an amputee with a wooden leg. That's when his wife reminds him to call the police. The lady begs him not to involve the police, but the old man assures her things will be better once she talks to them. The old woman hears strange noises coming from downstairs, so when she marches down to check what's happening, she finds the lady stabbing her husband to death and asking her to raise her hands and submit to her to make things easier, as she had no intentions of doing any of what she's done. The old woman cleverly bamboozles the lady by volunteering to be locked up in their storm shelter outside to stay out of the lady's hair. The lady doesn't foresee her trick and takes her outside, from where the old woman runs into the woods. Instead of chasing her, the lady runs back inside home, where it is clear that she's killed the old man and not Demon. She finds a freezer to hide in, so she takes his leather jacket and puts it on before hiding in the fridge. Scenes shift to Chapter 2, called Do You Like to Party? This chapter shifts the entire perspective of the story when the lady takes out a pack of substances from her bag and convinces Demon to party with her since it's her birthday. She lays out the substances on a metal card without Demon seeing. When they inhale the powder, Demon tries getting intimate with her, but she pushes him away. She discusses weird stuff and locks herself in the bathroom with her bag, from which she takes out a knife and a taser. Demon becomes paralyzed by her drugs. He crawls out of the room, but the strange darling drags him back inside their room. She takes off his shirt and tells him she switched his drugs with ketamine, a sleep-inducing medicinal drug. She now cuffs him, stuffs his mouth with a cloth, and forcefully gets intimate with him. 7 minutes later, she hits the bathroom again, where she takes off her red wig, revealing her blonde hair. She rummages through Demon's stuff and finds his police badge. She walks outside in anger and starts torturing him by cutting his chest with her knife. When she comes for the final stab, Demon takes out his gun and shoots at her multiple times. One bullet grazes her ear, and she runs out of there, pretending to be innocent. While she runs on the street in her underwear, Demon inhales some real drugs to pump his adrenaline and follow the lady, who is victimizing herself in another hotel. When they plan to call 911, she kills one woman and steals car keys from the other. She gets her ear temporarily bandaged, takes her clothes, and drives away in the stolen red car shown in the beginning. The last chapter, called Who is Gary Gilmore, rolls. This continues the story from when Demon found the lady killer in the freezer. She faints due to the last gunshot. Demon sits near the freezer and smokes to catch a breath. He then handcuffs the lady to the freezer and goes upstairs to use the phone and call someone named Pete from the police department. When he returns, he finds the lady wide awake. He sits down to chat with her and asks if she's the infamous electric lady killing people around. She changes the subject and shares that she wished to be like Gary Gilmore, an American serial killer who asked for a firing squad to execute him. She begins justifying her murders in the name of love. Just as Demon gets hooked on her poetic lines, she empties an entire can of bear pepper spray on him. He tries to take it from her, but she bites his neck and kills him by taking out a chunk of meat from his neck. He hits the ground and dies of bleeding. After catching some breath, the lady comes out of the freezer while still being cuffed and struggles to get Demon's ankle gun. When she hears the cops arrive, she lowers her pants and starts screaming. Pete arrives with a lady staff and begins wondering what happened here. The lady lies about being brutally assaulted by Demon and killing him in self-defense. Pete doesn't believe her and wants to wait for the medical team to arrive and check her first. But the lady officer becomes emotional and forces Pete to take her to the hospital. On their way, the old woman stops them to report the psychotic lady who killed her husband. When she spots the killer at the back, she tries to tell the cops in terror, but the killer shoots her and exposes herself as the electric killer. She makes the lady officer get off the police van and makes Pete drive her away. She makes him stop at one point and tells him she can't help but kill people, for she only sees them as monsters. She kills Pete and walks out of the car while simultaneously smoking. She decides to walk the rest of her path, but when she sees a vehicle coming from the front, she pretends to be a victim fallen on the road once again. A woman comes out and helps the killer get back inside her car. When the killer attempts to shoot her, the driving woman shoots her first in self-defense. As our strange darling slowly dies, the film ends. Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps like that.